Good morning children. Today I am going to teach you history chapter number 3 of class 8. So name of the chapter is ruling the countryside. So our today's topic is ruling the countryside. I will explain you important points of this chapter. First explanation. On 12 August 1765, the Mughal emperor appointed the East India Company as the Diwan of Bengal. So, in the year 1765, 12 August, uh, East India Company, they appointed Diwan of Bengal. Next explanation. As Diwan, the company became the chief financial administrator of the territory under its control. So afterwards, the territory is under the company of Britisher, under the control of Britisher. Next explanation. The company came to colonize the countryside, organize revenue, resources, redefine the right of people and produce the crop it wanted. So afterwards they are started to produce whatever crop they are producing, that is directly used by Britisher company, and that is rule according to the East India Company. Next topic is revenue for the company. So now we will discuss about what revenue they are asking from our country people. Point number 1. The company god became the Diwan. Diwan means a control finance department. They are called Diwan, and that is now under control of Britisher East India Company. But still show itself primarily as a trader. But also till now that Britisher, they are facing here problem, like they are till now here as a trader only. Point number 2. Before 1865, the company purchased good in India by importing gold and silver from Britain. Now the revenue collected in Bengal could finance the purchase of goods for export. So before they are doing only trading with gold and silver, but now they are engaging to export other things like goods for their exports. Next point is Bengal economy was facing a deep crisis. So after all this, Bengal economy, it was going very deep, and they are facing a lot of crisis regarding their industry. Point number 4. In 1770, a terrible famine killed 10 million people in Bengal. In the year 1770, a terrible famine killed 10 million people in Bengal. So, in the year 1770, a famine took place at that area, and in that famine, near about 10 million people, they died in Bengal. Next topic is the need to improve agriculture. So now we will discuss how they are improving the agriculture. So point number 1 is the company introduced permanent settlement in 1793. So now in the year 1793, British East India Company, they are trying to settle here permanently for their agriculture purposes. Point number 2. The Rajas and Talukdar were recognized as Jamindar. Jamindar. So Talukdar. Talukdar means an Indian landholder in Mughal Empire and British Raj for collecting taxes. So British East India Company, they are keeping Talukdar for collecting the tax from the people. So next topic is the problem. So now we will discuss about what the problem they are facing. So point number 1. Numerous jamindaris were sold off at auction organized by the company, as anyone who failed to pay the revenue lost his zamindari. So in that time, if any people they cannot give the tax for their land, then that land should be auctioned and they will directly to buy the British East India Company, and every work will do from their side only, and they will lose their zamindari power. Next topic is next point is the zamindars were not interested in the improvement of land. So in that time zamindar they are not interested for improving their land. They are just looking after their profits. Next topic is a new system in device. Device means invent a new way of doing something. So after all this, they are started to doing new system regarding the production of crop or for any other purposes. So point number 1, by the early 19th century, many of the company officials were convinced that the system of revenue had to be changed again. So after all this, the British East India Company, they are decided in the 19th century that now they have to ask more tax in comparison to before, and now they want to get the more collection of revenue had to be changed again. So now they are planning to change that revenue once again. Point number 2, an Englishman, Holt Mackenzie, one person named, he is an Englishman and his name is Holt Mackenzie, devised the new system which came into effect in 1822. So in the year 1822, Holt Mackenzie, he was started some new system in the year 1822. This system was called as Mahalwari system. So which system he was started using in our country, that name is Mahalwari settlement. So in Mahalwari settlement, one of the main revenue system land tenure. So this Mahalwari system settlement, they have to pay more revenue, and their tenure also they are given. So next topic is the Monroe system. Now we will discuss about Monroe system. Monroe means tax given by cultivator and landlord. So Monroe is a tax which is collecting from the cultivator and landlord. So point number 1 is, in the Britain territories in the south, a new system was devised which was known as Ryotwar or Ryotwari. So Ryotwar or Ryotwari means cultivator of agricultural land. So Ryotwar and Ryotwari means the people who like cultivator, and thus who are doing agricultural work, they are coming under Ryotwar or Ryotwari work. In the Britain territories in the south, a new system was devised which was known as Ryotwar or Ryotwari. So after all this, again in south area, this new system was started. So that name is given by Ryotwar or Ryotwari. Next point is, Ryotwari was initiated by increase to pay riots filed the countryside, and villages became deserted in many regions. So in Ryotwari system, they have the right to pay file the countryside, and villages became deserted in many regions. So sometimes they cannot grow more production. So at that time also they have to pay a large amount of revenue, and because of that so many villagers they are facing a lot of problems regarding this Ryotwari system. Next topic is crops for Europe. So now we will discuss about crop. So point number first is, and this is one of the important points of your book, so listen it carefully. Point number 1, by the late 18th century, the company was staging to expand the cultivation of opium and indigo. So, in the 18th century, this company, East India Company, they are started to doing this export to their country. For example, they are started with opium and indigo. Opium means drug, a kind of drug made from seed of a flower. Indigo is a indigo is a dark blue color which is used to color the clothes like cotton and all. The next point is point number 2. The Britisher forced cultivator to produce jute, tea, uh, sugar cane, wheat, cotton and rice in various parts of India. So, after all this, our cultivator, they are forced by the Britisher to produce more. For example, jute, tea, sugarcane, wheat, cotton and rice in various parts of India. So now they are directly getting forced from the Britisher for production of more all these goods. So next topic is, does color have a history? So now we will discuss about if any color having history in our country or not. So point number 1 is, the rich blue color was commonly called as indigo. So I already told you that indigo is a blue color plant, and for that at that time there is a large production in our country, and blue color was commonly called as indigo. Point number 2, the blue dye used in the Morris print in 19th century Britain was manufactured from indigo plants cultivated in India. So, indigo plant, it is one of the important production of our country, but in other countries it was not available. So, the blue dye used in the Morris print in 19th century Britain was manufactured from indigo plant cultivated in India. So, point number 3. India was the biggest supplier of indigo in the world in 19th century. So in the 19th century, in our India, it is a biggest supplier of indigo in comparison to all the countries. Next topic, why they demanded for Indian indigo. So why the other countries they are demanding for indigo? Now we will discuss that one. Point number 1. By the 13th century, Indian indigo was being used by cloth manufacturers in Italy, France and Britain to dye cloth. So from India in 13th century, all the countries, for example Italy, France and Britain, they wanting production from India for indigo. Point number 2. Indigo produced a rich blue color, whereas the dye from wood, another plant, was pale and dull. So one more plant, I didn't wrote that one, but that name is wood. And in comparison to indigo and wood, indigo having more color, and wood, it does not have a nice color. That's why people are started using indigo in place of wood. And wood is also producing in Europe. Point number 3. Indigo plantation came up in many parts of North America. Next topic, Britain turns to India. So now we will discuss about Britain turns to India, how they came and settled here. Point number 1, the company in India expanded the area under the indigo cultivation to meet the rising demand for indigo in Europe. So now after all this, in Europe there is a large demand of indigo. Because of that only Britishers, they want to settle and they want to make permanent settlement in our country. Point number 2, as the indigo trade grew, commercial agent and official of the company began investing in indigo plantation. So now company East India Company, they also want to invest in indigo plantation for higher production. So next topic is, how was indigo cultivated? now we will discuss that how indigo was cultivated. So point number one, there are two main systems of indigo cultivation, niche and variety. So in niche, British planters produce indigo, and that is directly used by the Britishers, and they are doing export of that one. That is called niche, and right means is used for the peasant of an cultivator of India. So these two forms are forming at that time, and one niche is for Britisher and variety for our Indian cultivator. So next point we will discuss. So next point is, in niche system, two planter produce indigo in land that he directly controls. So in indigo plant, the two person, like one is niche and one is red. These two will produce the indigo in the same land, and they are directly controlled by the Britisher. Next topic is the problem with niche cultivation. So what problem faced by niche cultivation? Now we will discuss that one. So point number one. Point number one is, the planter found differently to expand the area under niche cultivation. So for the production of indigo plant, they want to expand that land, and they want to grow more indigo in comparison to before. So point number two, niche cultivation on a large scale required many plug and bullock. Investing on purchase and maintenance of plug was a big problem. So in that time we know that no one is using like tractor and all. So for maintenance of that land and the good production of any crop was in very much difficult areas. So for that they are using bullock and other important thing which is required for the production of indigo and other crop. Next topic is indigo on the land of rats. So now we will discuss that indigo on the land of rats. Rat means, I already told you before also the meaning of rat. They are the cultivator, and which is from our country and doing for British work. So point number first is, in riot system, the planter forced the riot to sign a contract and agreement chatta. So in riot, if they are planting any crop, then they have to sign a contract of agreement, and that is called chatta, and that is under the control of Britisher. They are given this agreement to the people of riot, thus whose are producing any crop or indigo plantation. So point number two, thus who signed the contract got cash advances from planter, low rate of interest to produce indigo. So if anyone is signed this satta, then they are getting advance cash also from them, and in less rate of interest they have to pay to that government. Point number three, the peasant got very low price for the indigo and produce and cycle of land never ended. So in that time, I already told you that they are signed a agreement that is called chatta, and in that they are already took advance and they have to pay interest also to the British government. So afterwards they are not getting very much profit from that crops and that any production, and they have to submit that all the profit to the British government, and that land after doing one production again they are started to recycle that land, and it is never ended. So next topic is the Blue Rebellion. Blue Rebellion means a Persian uprising of indigo farmer against indigo farmers. So point number one is, in March 1859, thousands of riots in Bengal refused to grow indigo. So in the year 1859, so many peasants, they said that they are not ready to grow indigo plant because they are not getting any profits from there. Point number 2. Riots sure they would no longer take advances to show indigo nor built by the planter Lathias. So in that time when they refuse to do work or for growing of that indigo planter, they are getting punished by the British government. Like Lathias means a strong man equipped lathi or can. They used to get beating from them, and they are force them to do work for themselves. Point number 3. The government sets forth to the Indigo Commission to inquire into the system of indigo production. Point number 4. After the revolt, indigo production collapsed in Bengal. The planter now shifted their operation to Bihar. So after the Bengal, again they are shifted in Bihar for production of indigo. Indigo production. Point number 5. So last topic of your this chapter is point number 5. As the rebellion spread, riot refused to pay rent to the planter and attacked indigo factories. So after all this, now directly this Britisher, now they said that they are not going to pay anything extra for the farmers and tenants. So afterwards they are also not interested to do this work, but they are directly attacked from the Britisher for doing this work. That's all about your this chapter, and we will meet in our next class. So for any queries you can text me below. Thank you. Have a nice day.